left over. Oops. You're not planning on moving into this thing, are you? It's a chicken coop. Okay, guys, I have a new project that's on my plate that my wife has given me. Well, it's kind of part of the whole big 20-acre site. We're getting chickens, as you've seen, and the boys have a greenhouse. The next thing we need to build is a chicken coop. For me, I'm not one to just build a standard, simple little chicken coop. I want to make it an Archistructure Brad Builder special coop. So I've started hand drawing. This is how my drawings start out. And then I send it to my guy, like, here's Flair's house. So this turns into a full-scale blueprint. Because this is not that big of a deal, and it's just the outside, I need the dimensions of it. I've come up with this drawing to make it look like my mini version of the home I have. I've put some windows on the front of it. I'm going to make it about 16, let me write this on here, so I gotta get this to Eugenio. So it's going to be 16 feet across. I know that because it's on the other drawing. So there's 16 foot. And then this side view is only gonna be 10. So what I want to do is have like a set of steps that go up to a door. I'm going to find some old door. My goal too is to go through my warehouse right next door and find as many leftover scrap materials, because I don't want to spend a lot of money on this thing, but I want to make it look nice. I'm going to be talking to my lumber salesman. They have scrap materials that people bring back from the job sites, including me. When we return materials, sometimes the boards are crooked. I've learned that they just dump this in the back room and there's piles of this stuff. So I'm going to take you guys there too at some point and show you maybe when you need some materials, maybe talk to your local lumber yard, because they have this same stuff everywhere. They don't know what to do with it because they can't sell it, and it still is good stuff. As expensive as lumber is, that's a great tip. So now the side view, there's my 10-foot wide house, a chicken coop, and then we're going to build a screened in area. All these are screens, and that's going to be 24 foot long and about 7 to 8 foot tall. I think it might be 8 foot because I'm finding out the lumber I'm getting, the studs come 8 foot. Why cut a foot off if you don't need to? It's just more work and it's just waste. So we'll use a full board. And then I've done the math that it's more economical. These posts cost money. So I had them 36 inches wide. Now if I go to 48, I can actually go from 8 posts to 6. So I do that on both sides. I save 4 of these big cedar posts, which, by the way, I'd like to use cedar, and I think they have some at this lumber yard versus just 2x4s, green treated, that I paint. I want to make this thing look good, so I'm very excited. I'm not sure. This roof might be a metal panels. I do have a lot of leftover shingles, so that's up in the air to find out what I can do economically. And then here's a bird's eye view looking down at it. So this is the top view. Inside the chicken coop, when you come in this door, I'm going to make a little room about 4 foot wide, and these are where the chickens will come on this side, the laying area, and then I'll be able to come in the little office area, open up these doors, and grab the eggs out without going inside the actual chicken coop. So I have ventilation, and then I have a little ramp. Check this out, a little ramp that will go down to my screened in area, because there's all these hawks and varmints, and I want these chickens to be able to run around outside without some raccoon or whatever taking them out during the day. So we've had problems with that. So I got Eugenio started. I've done some grading myself with the Bobcat. Believe it or not, nobody believes it, but I prepared the site. It only took me 7 hours, where it would have probably taken somebody else 2, but I had fun doing it. So let's go in the warehouse and let's see what kind of materials we can come up with and get this chicken coop started. Okay guys, welcome to the warehouse. We're starting to organize it, but it's Trash Tuesday coming up tonight, so I gotta get all this to the curb. We brought this trailer inside because we moved, see the chicken coop back there? That's not even a chicken coop, it's like a little, I don't know, maybe a chicken tractor. The boys' chickens come, they put them in there first, and then they'll move them outside. So a little sidebar. Been storing stuff up in here. What I'd like to do, you can see all that wood there. I'm looking for some LVT, because I'd like to put that down and right on top of the subfloor. And I've made some calls to my flooring people that say, do you have a box or 2 of all the mismatch that they can't get rid of? I don't care what it looks like, because I'd like to put that down on the deck. Instead of having wood, I can have LVT, and it might make it really nice to clean that chicken coop out over time. So this is a long-term project, and I want to do it right so I don't have to come back later. So I have some up there. There's some LVT. I have some shingles right over here. I got to go through and find out what types of color of shingles. Last thing I want is red and brown and black, and so hopefully I can make it look right. I have a lot of siding down here left over. Oops. Anybody need a nice wood threshold? I can't seem to want to throw that away. I have no idea where I'm going to put that. Vents for the attic, so that would be, I think that one there would be nice because I got to keep ventilation going in the chicken coop, keep the air moving, so that is something I can use. I have no idea where that came from. I even have some little heaters that I bought that I got a little rambunctious when I hit the purchase button. I ended up buying like 4 or 5 of those things when I needed like 1. I should take them back. Up here, I have all this radiant insulation, it's a radiant barrier, and that reflects heat. In the winter, when it goes up to the ceiling, it hits the radiant barrier and comes back down. And then in the summer, when the heat comes in, it hits the roof and reflects it back out. So that could be something I can finally get rid of. I've been storing that stuff forever. Back here I have doors. Look at this, doors. I got metal panels. I might use some of this stuff on the inside because I don't have enough of it to do a roof out of it. Roof. That we'll take out, and then you can see I have these old doors. I think it'd be kind of cool to use those old doors on the outside and maybe on the inside as well to make this feel like it's going to be a new chicken coop, but I'd like to use some old stuff in there. Hopefully I can get that past the wife and the interior designer. Maybe I'll just do it and not tell them. There's a leftover truss. I don't think that's long enough. I need something that's like 30 foot long, and that's only 18. Maybe I'll use that for a project coming up. I want to get together with Flair and build a tree house and a bridge. So there's tons of stuff going to do in that Flair. So let me know what you think some projects I should be doing with him. Since we're standing by this, this is where they put the little baby chickens. We have 150 chickens coming here, and then they'll start their little life right in here running around for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then they move them out to the chicken tractors. So this will soon to be home for more chickens coming in the mail. Will be 150 of them coming in here. So something I think I can use is a ceiling fan that came off of a job. We ordered too many of those as well. So I could put this, I have one of them in the deer blind and I have one left, and I think those would be fantastic to put in to move air inside the chicken coop. So here's some of the lumber. We've already loaded up some of this stuff and hauled it out. I filled it up with the trailer. You'll see that. Some of this reclaimed wood, I might be able to do some accent stuff inside the chicken coop, like in the office, so you come in, it feels like you're in an old chicken coop. But another job that I'm gonna be talking to you guys about, and Flair, is he wants me to design his boathouse marina on his pond. And my idea that I wanna run by Andrew and you guys is I think it should look like it's been there for 80, 90 years. So this reclaimed wood would be awesome if I built like a dock and a deck and put the house out on the water. So when you make the time to come down to Flair's, I'd like to see if he does that, have a little contest and who can go fishing and walk into Flair's marina. He'll have all his Guggen Squad fishing gear there. He'll have beef jerky you can buy. God, maybe I can talk him into starting some ice cream shop, because I would love if he would do that. When you're fishing, you need like a good ice cream. All this will be loaded up and taken out to Flair's at some point. That way I get my warehouse is cleaned out. I get a chicken coop, and Flair hopefully will get a cool marina boathouse. So I've noticed this thing, we've been moving this around. This was out of the school bus that we converted. This was the luggage rack that you would put up above. We kept one in the bus, and now I got one in the warehouse. This could be something that we could install inside the chicken coop down the office side, that we could store the feed up off the ground. So I kind of like that idea, because otherwise I have no idea what to do for this. I'm wondering, can this be used as a perch? It sits about 1.5 feet off the ground, but I'll have to do the math, or you guys tell me how far apart these things need to be. I know the chickens like to perch, and they have different levels. If you have multiple levels, all the chickens want the top one, so it doesn't matter how many you have. So if I could keep them on the same level, maybe then everybody's happy and no one's fighting for the top shelf, because they're always on it. Hey, by the way, do you guys want a snowmobile? This is a Polaris. I rode it once. I'm not crazy about it. Thing's too fast, and I was looking for more of a family truckster. This is one seat. It's a mountain sled. It's a Polaris. It's an 800 called the Pro. This thing is really nice. I think it only has like 700 hours on it or less. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll make you a great deal on a wonderful snowmobile. All right, guys, I got my work cut out for me to make all this into a chicken coop. So let me know what your confidence level is in me, because I'm gonna get started on it. So let's get into it. Okay. All right, just dumped off some materials I had on the trailer because I'm going to the lumber yard tomorrow. Here's the site of the chicken coop. Let me show you. I'm going to be able to pick up all kinds of scrap material. Here's stuff that's left over from all the various jobs that I'm going to be using. And I've used the Bobcat and I cleared this site. I'll walk down here and show you. All this was sloping down. So what I'm standing in right now is going to be the screened in part of the chicken coop. And I've already had Max and Nate and Eugenio. They've drilled these post holes. All these have been dug. We're going to be back here tomorrow, start setting the post. And in this area right here, this wide, is going to actually be the chicken coop. And there'll be a little ramp coming down so the chickens will run around on the inside. Hopefully we'll be able to have like another door and let them run around, and then they can do what chickens do in the trees and the grass during the day and get them back in. We're also kind of concerned. People say it's not good because of the trees. Hawks can hide in there and take them out. No matter where we're at, we're always trying to protect these chickens from predators. So we'll keep you posted on this. All right, so we'll get into more of these details. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. So an update, guys, on our chicken coop. This is everything that we got out of that wood pile at the lumber yard. And we're building this entire thing out of 2x6s because that's all we have. And I've got the 2 windows on the front. I just picked up a door that is also from the scratch and dent pile. As luck would have it, it hinges into the right. And we have a window in there. And around this corner, I want to show you, we came up with a new idea. Because we're going to have to clean this thing out, sweep it out. We're going to put a little trap door right here that will hinge and lift up. We'll cut this plate out and we'll have a wheelbarrow and be able to sweep everything right out of here. And then that will be a shutter because I don't have a window anymore, but that will allow a ton of air movement through this. And back here is the screened in chicken coop run. Here's the cedar post that we picked up. We got all those 12 foot on center. And then we're going to build the screens in between there. And Daniel's starting to work on that, but the coop is turning out really nice. It's almost like a small house. Does it work out with chickens? I could move into this thing. All this lumber we got out of the lumber yard, a little bit of the disadvantage of doing that is that we just piled as neatly as possible on it. But some of the stuff we need is on the bottom. The stuff on top is some of the green, which is curved and dented. We're going to use those for fence posts. So we're having to go through all this. If you order it from the lumber yard, it comes out nice and neat and packaged. But I just brought down the other trailer that's full of cedar. And we're going to go through this with Eugenio to look for the headers across the back and start using some of this to start building the screened in part of the chicken coop. So more stuff is showing up at this little tiny job site, and we're just picking through what we need, and I'll keep you posted on how this thing is starting to come. Okay, an update on the ultimate chicken coop. We've got the main coop built over here, using everything as much as possible out of my warehouse. We've used lumber that we bought at the lumber yard that was scrap lumber. Together with my son Nate, Daniel, and Eugenio, and my son Max, they've been working on this thing. We've had some rain delays, but right now what they're building is the screened in area for the chicken coop run, and that looks like a house. It's getting so large, Eugenio's tempting to move into this thing. So I gotta make sure that the chickens are okay with that. How much more time before you guys think you're done? Oops, just as I start talking, the compressor comes on. Let's, 2 more weekends. Let's go down and get a close-up with Eugenio. Eugenio,
Hola.
Man, looking good.
Buenos días.
You're not planning on moving into this thing, are you? It's a chicken coop.
Chicken coop over here.
You're gonna move in?
No.
You told me you were going to move in and make it a little nicer on the inside.
But the thinking with
the chicken. Okay, well, there's plenty of eggs. We're going to have a little contest once we start laying eggs, where you're going to stand back and we're going to throw eggs at each other and see who can catch them. If it breaks in your hand,
I'm not playing football.
No, you don't play football with an egg?
No.
So today we're going to add on this room, we're decided to put a metal roof on it to help keep some costs down.
Yeah, but later today I'm sheeting.
We'll sheet that roof.
Yeah.
We got rain coming, mañana.
No, I'm gonna put the
sheeting on, that'll be good, and felt it so we get it dried in. And then what I want to do is paint that floor. Do we have any leftover paint from the deck?
I think it's behind the steps.
I'm gonna go look and see, because we don't need much. I think that it's an indoor-outdoor paint for decking. That would be good, I think, for the chicken coop, okay?
Maybe, yeah.
But I would, hopefully, you think we're gonna be able to get some siding on in the windows? How many more days?
2 or 3 days more.
2 or 3 more days? Yeah. There's no Cinco de Mayo coming up, is there?
No more Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
there's
good.
one coming up next month.
Yeah, next month, yeah.
Oh yeah,
September.
Oh, yeah,
14th.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. September 14th.
What's that? September
No,
14th?
15th.
15th.
It's
another-
Quince de Septembre. It's just like it's like a half birthday of Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, well.
Same with July 4th.
Oh, my.
Independence.
Oh, it is independent. So how many days off do you need after that day?
That's 2 weeks. That's a 2 week.
That's a two weekend vacation. All right, I'm gonna get these guys back to work because I got to get this thing finished up, or you need to get her done so I can get the roof on. And the chickens are getting bigger, so they're asking about where their next house.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, vámonos.
Vámonos.
All right. As you can see, we kind of went a little over the top on our chicken coop. This is something that my wife's really been excited about. She showed me some pictures of similar ones, and we had a tendency to do it a little more, as Eugenia would say, grande, a little bigger. If it doesn't work out as a chicken coop, I'm sure we can make it into a house. This thing is nice. We kind of have a messy job site. I think that's part of Eugenio's MO, but the trailer's full. It's got windows in there to keep their tools. All this scrap lumber we've been bringing down and picking through it, because it is just that, scrap lumber. There's a lot of stuff that we can't use, but because they were able to go through it, take a look inside how nice this turned out. So here's the ceiling, which we'll be able to insulate. We're gonna have to build a wall in here in the middle. This is where the layer box is going to go. So this area all in here where the windows are, this will be a window that we open up for a screened in. Those are actual windows, but here's an invention that I came up with. We're gonna put a hatch on the outside, because every now and then you gotta sweep out the chicken coop, clean her all up. We can park a wheelbarrow underneath there, and then that is where all the mess and stuff goes versus trying to scoop it up and walk it out a door. So I think I'm onto something. To give you some idea of a few things that we had to purchase to make this happen, this is the hen layer box. On this side, we'll be pointing on the inside, this is a little step they can roost on. They hop up in here, and when they lay the eggs, also what I've been told, so if you don't want the chickens going in the chicken coop or into the box laying eggs, this not only is a step, but it's a blocker. It keeps them from going in. Then we're gonna build a wall. The chickens are on one side in the coop area, but we're gonna build like a little office. So when you come in the door, you literally lift up this, and the eggs have rolled right into this area. So you don't have to go in and reach into chickens and get pecked. So this is something new that my son Max found. We had to buy this, he put it together. And the only other thing I had to purchase is what Daniel's up on, that ridge beam running all the way across. That big LVL is what we needed. Everything else, it came from the lumber yard, my warehouse, scrap material. So I want to show you, you'll be amazed how nice this is going to look once it's all done.